next speakers are Stephanie Murguia and Memi Chibain. Did I say that right? Stephanie is a graduate student, a local Salt Lake City resident, and has worked in many organizations, including Mecha, Brown Berets, Venceremos, and currently works for a local nonprofit. Memi was born and raised in Belgium and has lived in Salt Lake City since 1992. Memi is the owner of Mina Essence, a health skincare products company. She is currently a full-time student at the University of Utah, pursuing a double major in French and gender studies. She seeks to understand the cultural, social, and political dynamics that lead to the unfortunate racism, sexism, heterosexism, and classism in societies. Memi and Stephanie.
So when we were asked a couple of weeks ago to speak, we both initially said no. We were nervous, we were scared, and we couldn't remember how long we had been silenced for. But then when we spoke to each other, we decided that we could do this together, and we could do it in our own words, in our own way. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and we weave throughout our little spiel some words by Maya Angelou and Audre Lorde, which inspired us. So here we go.
Did you want to see me broken, bowed head, lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise.
Our words may not be heard nor welcomed, but when we are silent, we are still afraid.
Racial profiling. Racial profiling in America affects tens of thousands of residents in all aspects of our daily lives. Arizona made it official. Arizona gave a green light to those who perceive others as not their equal, to stop or to harass them in broad daylight. I could be arrested because I am brown and because I have an accent.
While walking down the street with my friends, I run the risk of being singled out. Not only is the message that it is all right to humiliate people in public, but if Utah follows Arizona, it is going to be legally acceptable. We are talking about legalizing, normalizing racism. Let's not let that happen. Racism must not be allowed to be normal and acceptable occurrence.
Well, what is racism, some might ask? In the US, racial profiling may be seen as a recent concept, but it is far from it being a new phenomenon. African Americans were the first target of legal, governmental discrimination practices.
Other ethnic minorities followed shortly. Japanese Americans. We are quick to forget the 120,000 Japanese Americans, of which 2/3 were American citizens, who were gathered and forced to war incarceration camps, located right here in Utah, near where we stand today. These men, women, and children's civil rights were violated on the basis of their ethnic background. Let's not forget that.
Racial profiling harms innocent people whose freedoms of movement are restricted to institutional barriers of oppression. Marginalized groups, while on their way home or work, to a movie, while driving, flying, or shopping, anywhere in the country at any time of the day or night, are always at risk of falling victims to the oppressive Arizona and potential Utah policy.
Arizona patriots are quick to forget the following amendments of the Constitution that they are violating. The Fourth Amendment, which states the right of people to be secure against reasonable search and seizures. The Fifth, which states no person shall be held nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property. And the 14th, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property, or equal protection under the law. Arizona law is simply inhumane and unconstitutional, and we cannot allow that to come to Utah.
Maintaining and spreading the idea of race to arrest and condemn people from minority groups must be stopped at once. Legally using the idea of race undermines undocumented and documented immigrants, as well as create fear within us and all around us. Implementing discriminatory laws such as SB 1070 would put minorities at an even greater social disadvantage. The 100+ million minority groups in the US must be solely judged on their deeds. We demand to be treated with dignity and the respect we all deserve. Who has the power to tell who is and who is not undocumented, and who dares to claim that they have the supernatural sixth sense to tell who is and who is not undocumented?
Who is going to ask the over 1,400 Somali refugees in Utah if they are illegal? Will they be considered human too?
Who is going to ask the 30,000 American Indians that currently reside in our state if they are illegal? Who is going to acknowledge that this is their land? Will they be considered humans too?
Who is going to ask the over 40,000 Asians in our state if they are illegal? Will we ever acknowledge what this government did with the Chinese exclusion at the Japanese American internment camps? Will they be considered human too?
And who is going to ask the 18,000 African Americans that live in our state if they're illegal? Will we ever acknowledge the blatant racism that still exists for our African American communities? Will they be considered humans too?
Who is going to ask the over 20,000 Pacific Islanders if they are illegal? Will we ever acknowledge their contributions? Will they be considered human too? And who is going to ask the 54,000 members of the LGBTIQ community of Utah if they are illegal? Will the act of being pushed into the shadows, much like our undocumented community, by our state bureaucracy be ever acknowledged? And will they be considered human too?
There is absolutely no one who has the power or the ability to look at someone and know that they are undocumented. No one. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that. I moved to the US in 1990. I spoke very little English then. I knew how to say hello, how are you, coffee, yes please, sugar, no thanks. That was it. When I moved to California, I encountered people who welcomed me. I quickly felt at home. I moved to Utah in 1992. It was a place of very little diversity then, but even here I was welcomed. And I was welcomed by people who were genuinely happy to have me here as part of their community.
I want to talk about my father for a little bit. My father, who moved us here almost 25 years ago, who gave up so much to give his two little daughters the future he thought they deserved. How could he have ever known that there were so many people that would have thought otherwise?
There are political and social discussions and debates about what is best for our country, state, and community. I can tell you from personal experience and from my personal interaction with thousands of people